We've been helping solve repair Rock Creek with our class, and it's a lot of fun. You wouldn't know that, but it's a lot of fun. The creek has a lot of problems from invasive species like Himalayan blackberry, and we already did that.
Good bits, yeah.
You might want to do that one more time. English ivy and Scotch broom, and the invasive species create a monoculture of one plant, killing natives, which is bad for wildlife habitat. And they also create a monoculture of one shallow root, which can cause an erosion. And Rock Creek is a salmon and steelhead bearing creek, and we don't want a lot of sediment in the water because it can clog fish gills, reduce visibility for fish to find food, and settle on fish eggs. Invasives have also crowded out room for sapling trees to survive, which over time has created a lack of tree cover. Another problem is that there are also is impervious surfaces such as the tops of buildings and cemented ground, and they're bad for the creek because they don't allow water into the soil, and plants can't grow on them, and they cause runoff. Blacktops on roads and parking lots are especially bad because they heat up stormwater, causing the creek to be warmer.
And we need that water to be able to get into the soil so that it can filter out all of the pollutants. So another problem is that they're doing development down there. But we're hoping that that we can keep the watershed health the same or even improve it despite the development. I think they're starting to build houses on the other side of the creek from where we're working. So we're hoping that that won't affect it with all of the impervious surfaces and the added pollutants. And some of the things that we're going to be doing to try to fix these problems are
so we're trying to restore it, and so one thing is removing the Himalayan blackberry. Remove the blackberries because it's an invasive species and it kills all the plants, all the native plants around, not letting them grow anything. Their roots are short, it makes the soil weak, and it could cause the ground to cave in near a bank and go into the water, which is pretty bad because it could kill the fish by clogging their gills, or it could settle on the fish eggs, not letting them hatch. And it can also store the sunlight, which makes the water warm, and they need the water to be cold. Another bad part about the blackberries is that they don't provide enough shade for the water. Another thing that we've done is plant a lot of trees, a lot of native plants around there. Some of them are the red osier dogwood, the Pacific dogwood, many types of cedar and willows, Oregon grape, Douglas fir, Pacific ninebark, and a few others that we planted. Planted them because they provide good shade for the streams, which is mostly inhabited by the Chinook salmon, which are very sensitive to temperature. Also, a variety of native trees and shrubs have varying root depths, which really holds onto the soil and keeps it out of the stream. So that's the trees. After we planted the trees, we put up beaver cages around them. Beaver cages are tall metal cages that keep the animals, mainly especially beavers, from eating the trees that we just planted. We don't want those because
want to give them a chance.
Also around the trees, to help protect from invasive species, we put down coffee bags. We want to protect them from the blackberry and English ivy and all the bad things. Coffee bags stop invasives from getting to the natives. And another plus about them is that they're biodegradable, so just going to the ground.
And with the clips that they are used to put into the ground are cornstarch, so they also are biodegradable. And that's to stop the invasive species from getting them so that their roots can be in the ground and have a chance at growing big to help out. One of the other things that we're going to be doing is macroinvertebrate testing. We're going to see what macroinvertebrates are in the water and depending on the diversity of what's in the water and how much of them there are, and their pollutant tolerance, we will know what the watershed health is. So if we have a lot of very tolerant, very pollutant tolerant macroinvertebrates and not very many sensitive ones, then we'll know that the health's not that good. But we're hoping that we'll have a very diverse amount of just learning all these helpful things, putting them in play down at the creek really helps. And knowing how to actually remove blackberries, because a lot of people think that just cutting them is good enough, but it doesn't actually do anything. And so when I was down there, I actually learned how to get the bulb out and make sure that it wouldn't grow back. So that was really a good experience for me personally.
Me personally, at the end of the day, I felt really good about what I did down at Black Creek. And I look forward to going down helping again. It impacted me personally because I like helping people, but now I get to help the environment. And it felt pretty good. I even went in extra time with a class that wasn't mine. I think it's a great thing to do, and I think more people should come down and help us down at Red Creek. It's changed how I feel about the environment a lot, and I think that's going to help me stop doing anything that I've done that's hazardous to the environment. I'm extremely excited to go back down in spring, and I'll hopefully get to go with both classes like I did last time, so I can do it more. Ties in with what we're learning in class, because we're learning about all the plants. And she said we did a field guide and we learned about all the plants and how it's good to have all the natives there.
I think it's also really helpful too, because the more aware of the environment that we are, we're more likely to educate other people. Because I know I've gone home and told my parents what we did down at Rock Creek and why we were doing it, and explained what beaver caging was and why we did it and everything like that. So I think that a lot of the stuff that we've learned down at Rock Creek with Solve will stay with us for a long time to help the environment and keep working on it.